Good morning, Siegel Safari. I know it's been a long time since I've read, and I do apologize. We were celebrating an 18th birthday here at our house. Yes, my oldest turned 18 yesterday, and I used Monday and Tuesday to kind of get ready for his birthday. So we're back at it today. I'm going to try to read today and tomorrow, and then next week I'll start just reading maybe 3 times a week, but I'll read longer. Instead of 2 chapters, I'll read 3 or 4 chapters at a time. So today I am going to read 4 chapters. I don't know if it's been a while. So since we left, Bernie had gotten his pets from his parents because they were traveling so much and they had no place to put them. And he was trying to hide them from Miss Heine and other staff member because if they find out that he has pets, what happens? He gets kicked out of school and he doesn't want that to happen. So he hid them and now he's got to figure out how to hide them within the whole school. So he's on a mission right now. So let's find out what happens next. All right, Chapter 7, Sherman Oaks has a pet. It says, Sherman turned and flashed me his perfect gleaming smile. I gazed at the smooth blonde hair, his crisply starched school uniform, his deep tan, his sparkling blue eyes, the sneer on his thin lips. He wore an ostrich skin backpack with the price tag still on it. $300. He had a platinum iPod in his blazer pocket. Still grinning at me, he pulled off the earpieces. Bernie, he said, I hear you're hiding 2 pets in your dorm room. Gah. My pets arrived half an hour ago. How did he find out? How did my biggest enemy on earth find out my biggest secret? I grabbed my head. I felt dizzy. My stomach rocked and rolled. I was sick. Pets, I don't know what you're talking about, I said. What is up with all these false rumors about me? Sherman's ugly grin grew wider. In Nice House, we like to follow the rules, he said. It keeps us out of trouble. Know what I mean? Was he threatening me? Was he threatening to tell Headmaster Upchuck about my pets? Sherman stuck out his hand to shake hands. I just want to say goodbye, Bernie. This might be the last time I see you. I mean, if I should accidentally tell Headmaster Upchuck about your pets. Uh-oh, he was threatening me. Why would I have pets? I said. I'm allergic to them. Just the word makes me itch. Look, don't say that word. I'm itching all over. I went into a scratching fit, scratching every part of my body. You need a pet like mine, Bernie, Sherman said. He pointed to a hunk of shiny metal at his feet. I don't believe this, I said. Now you've got your own personal trash can. It's a digital robot pet, Sherman said. It costs $1,000. My parents sent it to me because they think they can buy my love with expensive shiny toys. I stared at the thing. It was kind of shaped like a cat. Watch this, Sherman said. He took out a thin remote controller and aimed it at the metal pet. Say hello, Money. Say hello to Bernie. Money, I said. You named your pet Money? Yeah, cute name, isn't it? Sherman pushed some buttons on the controller. Say hello, Money. The little robot squeaked. Meow. Meow. Sherman laughed. Isn't that totally fabulous? Now watch this. He pushed more buttons. The robot pet ran around the grass in a big circle. Then it rolled over. Then it jumped into the air a few times and wagged its metal tail. Sherman laughed. He got down on his knees to pet the thing. Good boy. Good, Money. Good. He looked up at me. See? This pet won't get me in trouble. Let me try it, I said. I took the remote from him. I pushed a few buttons. The metal cat grabbed Sherman's face with its paws, latched on tight, and began to squeeze. Ow, Bernie, stop it, he screamed. Stop it. Ow, it's hurting me. I stared at the controller. I'm just no good at these things, I said. How do you work it? I can't even figure these things out. Stop it. Get it off me, Sherman howled. It's so confusing, I said, shaking my head. So many buttons. Do I push the blue ones or the red ones? Oh, it's squeezing my face. Make it stop. I pushed a yellow button. The robot cat coughed up a metal hairball into Sherman's face. Ow! 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 It's squeezing my beautiful face, he wailed. Should I give the guy a break? Chapter 8. My lucky day. Hey, Bernie B. is a good guy, of course. I gave him a break. A few minutes later, I made the tin cat open its paws. So sorry, dude, I said. I just can't even ever work these things. Sherman staggered to his feet. His cheeks were bright purple. Thanks, Bernie. That was a close one, he said. He picked up the robot cat and shook it hard. Bad boy, he scolded. No fresh batteries for you tonight. Sherman turned to me. He likes it when I change his batteries. Glad I could rescue you, I said. This is my lucky day after all. Sherman squinted his sky blue eyes at me. Huh? Your lucky day? I nodded. Yeah, dude, it's my lucky day. I pulled a bunch of raffle tickets from my pocket. Check these out. Pizza oven raffle tickets. I bought the last 10 tickets. Sherman stared at the tickets in my fist. You bought the last 10 tickets? I have the last 10 tickets, and I wouldn't sell them to anyone. I waved them slowly in front of his face. Sherman's mouth fell open, and he started to drool. The last 10? You're serious, and you rigged the raffle, didn't you, Bernie? It's fixed, right? You made sure you had the winning ticket. I grinned at him. Would I do that? That would be cheating. You don't think I'm a cheater, do you, Sherman? I waved the tickets in front of his face some more. I'll buy 'em off you, Bernie. How much? How much? Not selling, I said. Why would I sell the last 10 tickets? Drool ran down Sherman's chin. His eyes bulged. He was breathing hard. How much, Bernie? Come on. How about $2? I'll give you $2 each for them. He grabbed for the tickets. I swung them away from him. Oh, no, I said. You want them too badly, Sherman. You know I have a winner here, don't you? You're trying to cheat me. Play fair, Sherman. Play fair. Okay, he said. $4 each. What do you say, Bernie? $4. I pretended to think about it. I rubbed my chin, and shut my eyes. Okay, I said finally. It breaks my heart, but $4 each? Thank you. Thank you, Sherman cried. He handed me a wad of dollar bills and gave him the tickets. Wow, the last 10 tickets, he said. Thank you. He picked up his robot cat and ran off to class. I watched him go. Then I counted the money, 40 big ones. I should have felt happy. The master had struck again. But I was too worried to enjoy the money. Sherman knew about my pets. What if he squealed to Headmaster Upchuck? I had to do something to hide them, and I had to act fast. Chapter 9. Sherman Squeals. Uh-oh, that's not good for Bernie. I caught up to Feeman and Crunch. Sherman was too easy. Too easy, I said. I waved the wad of dollar bills in front of their noses. Their tongues fell out of their mouths, and they started to pant. But dudes, I got a bigger problem, I said. Mrs. H almost busted me. She almost saw Lippy and Gassy, and Sherman Oaks knows about them. I'm afraid he'll tell Headmaster Upchuck. I wiped the sweat off my forehead with a dollar bill. If we don't find a better way to hide Gassy, I'll be waving bye-bye to you guys on the next bus. Bernie, that dog stinks, Feeman said. Feeman, you don't smell that good yourself, I replied. I've got it. Maybe we could dress the dog up, Crunch said. Disguise him, maybe make him look like a cat. Like a cat? I cried. What good would that do? How would that help me with Mrs. Heine? Crunch scratched his chin. Well, if she thinks the dog is a cat, it might confuse her. I patted Crunch on the head. How many times have I told you not to think before noon? It puts a terrible strain on your brain. Sorry, Bernie. We passed under a clump of apple trees. Up ahead stood a tall old brick building. Long vines of poison ivy clung to its walls. This was the schoolhouse where all the classes are held. I slipped into class just as the bell rang. Mrs. Heine sat at her desk cleaning her glasses. I slid into my desk between Feeman and Crunch. Headmaster Upchuck's voice came on the loudspeaker. The speaker squealed and whistled. It was hard to hear. I have two special announcements, the headmaster said. First, one of our lunch ladies is missing a leg. If you are the one who took it, you know who you are. Please return it to the kitchen and no questions will be asked. A lot of the kids giggled at that one. Second, Upchuck continued, 12 students signed up for the spelling bee. Smelling bee, I must repeat. It is not a smelling bee. These students are very, very mixed up. So far, he said, no one has signed up for the spelling bee, so we are going to make it a little easier. Only 2-letter words will be used. I hope you will all enter the contest now. Thank you. Mrs. Heine stood up at the front of the classroom. The lights reflected off her glasses. Today, I thought we'd have a little fun and talk about state capitals, she said. Everyone groaned. Ugh. Feeman had his head down on his desk. He was already sound asleep. Does anyone know the capital of South Dakota? Mrs. Heine asked. No hands went up. South Dakota is a very important state, Mrs. H said. Does anyone want to take a guess about the capital? Belzer raised his hand. Is it France? Mrs. Heine shook her head. Come on, people, you know this. The capital of South Dakota. Belzer raised his hand again. Is it North Dakota? Are you trying to be funny, Mrs. Heine asked him. Belzer squinted at her. Funny. I'm a little surprised at you, Mrs. Heine said. You were supposed to study your capitals last night. She suddenly stopped. She saw that no one was listening. A lot of kids had turned to the window and were staring out. What were they gawking at? I jumped out of my seat so I could see. Oh, no! I let a horrified cry. What do you think's out there? Gassy! He had escaped from the dorm. The fat bulldog stood outside the classroom window staring in, and he had the lunch lady's wooden leg between his teeth. Kids were pointing and screaming. A bunch of them ran to the window to get a better view. I sank back into my seat and shut my eyes. Whose dog is that? Mrs. Heine demanded. Does anyone know? Whose dog is that? And then I heard Sherman Oaks' voice ring out loud and clear. It's Bernie's! It's Bernie's dog! This is so not good for Bernie. All right, let's see what happens. Chapter 10, Kidnapped. Mrs. Heine pulled me aside. Is that your dog, Bernie? Dog? What dog? I replied. I didn't see a dog. She stared at me through her thick glasses. Bernie, even I saw the bulldog with the leg in his mouth. If you have a pet on campus, I have to report you to Headmaster Upchuck. I raised my hands in surrender. Mrs. Heine, I said, you caught me, I confess. I have 16 chihuahuas, 2 ducks, and a grizzly bear in my room. No joke, she said. Tonight I'll be in your room for our nightly goodnight handshake, and I'm going to search your room from top to bottom. The goodnight handshake is an old rotten school tradition. It happens every night in all the dorms before lights out. In our dorm, Mrs. Heine comes around at 9 o'clock. She goes from room to room and checks everyone in for the night. Then she asks each one of us, how was your day? Did you have a good day? And she shakes hands with each of us. It's kind of nice to end a day with a handshake, but not if you're hiding a parrot and a bulldog in your room. Mrs. H squinted at me through her glasses. If you have a pet in there, I'll find it, she said. I'll help you, I said. If anyone is hiding pets in the dorm, we'll catch them, won't we? A few minutes later, I was crossing the great lawn, hurrying back to Rittenhouse. I walked with my head down, my shoulders hunched, thinking hard. Mrs. H would be in my room tonight, searching every corner. No way I could hide Gassy and Lippy from her. I was doomed. The afternoon sun was sinking behind the trees. Long shadows fell over the grass. I saw Sherman Oaks across the lawn. The evil Sherman. He'd do anything to get me in trouble. He wore his ostrich skin backpack, and he was carrying something on his shoulder. A laundry bag? Why would Sherman be carrying a bulging laundry bag across the great lawn? I decided to follow him. Sherman was grunting and groaning. He started to stagger. The bag was heavy. I kept in the shadows. I crept closer, closer. Oh, yuck! A disgusting smell washed over me. I pinched my fingers over my nose, but it didn't help. Gassy. Sherman wasn't hauling a laundry bag. He was carrying my pet. Sherman had kidnapped my bulldog. Where was Sherman taking him? 3 guesses. I stayed in the shadows. I moved behind the trees. I followed Sherman to Headmaster Upchuck's house. He planned to rat me out. Sherman was about to show my dog to the headmaster, and then it would be time to say, bye-bye, Bernie. I'd be on the next bus home. Nice guy, huh? I watched Sherman lower Gassy to the ground. He had the dog on a leash. He tied the leash to a slender tree next to Headmaster's house. Then Sherman walked up to the front door and rang the bell. I had to act fast. If Headmaster Upchuck came out and saw Gassy, it was all over. But what could I do? Uh-oh, this is not good. We'll find out. Chapter 11, tomorrow. Hey, Zach, I'm so glad you were listening to the stories and keeping me on track here. I do apologize that I was not reading every day this week. So I'm back at it tomorrow. We'll read a couple more chapters, and we'll continue with this book next week. We should finish it by next Friday. So I hope all of you have a good day, and keep working on those lesson plans and do what you can, okay? I miss you very much. Bye, guys.